What's up, guys, and welcome back to No Collar Entertainment. This is Ariane.
This is Matt.
This is Juice.
And we're back for Squeegee Side Chick Wednesday.
Squeegee Side Chick Wednesday.
Side Chick Wednesday.
And we are reviewing the 1985 black comedy mystery film, according to Wikipedia, Clue.
Black comedy?
Yeah, usually black comedy refers to, I looked this up, basically dark humor.
See, I see black comedy in here, but I would definitely classify it as a slapstick.
I think that's definitely, like, it should be also, it can be both.
No, yeah, it has elements.
So, yeah.
I've never heard that expression, that phrase, if it wasn't an African American cast, but I digress.
No, I've heard it before, but I didn't get used very often. It's more of an older term, I think. Because it's also, like, I'm looking at Wikipedia, I'm like, what is black comedy? Like, I've heard it before, but, like, I've never really delved into it. And, like, I've heard of things, something being a little, like, it's a little blue. And about blue comedy refers to more, like, nudity, sex, bodily fluids, and obscenities. So, like, there's different colors relating to, like, comedy. I don't know why.
So comedy is gay?
No, blue comedy refers to specifically, like, nudity, sex, bodily fluids.
I just meant because it's like there's
It covers the rainbow.
Yes, thank you. That's what I meant.
Went over your head.
Anyway, we're doing Clue.
Tell us about Clue, baby.
Yes,
All
give
right,
us the whole
let's
breakdown.
take
This is your movie, so you get to do all the stuff today.
Yay! Clue is based on the board game, the Parker Brothers board game, that children worldwide have played throughout all of time, basically. And it stars Christopher Lloyd, the Tim motherfucking Curry, and a bunch of other people. That's not fair because a lot of people are in this film.
You need to give
Oh, no, I know.
needs his credit.
So does
Yes,
Michael
he does.
McKean.
Yes,
He's
yes,
a
he does.
national treasure.
Madeline Kahn, Eileen Brennan, and Leslie Ann Warren. Which, to be honest, we also were looking at while we were watching the movie when it first came on. It was like, of all the people who were in that film, of the main characters, not the people who get killed, spoiler alert,
Of the main
cast, she's the one who I've always known the very fucking least. And I looked through her Wikipedia, IMDb, whatever. I haven't seen a single fucking
And
thing
who's
that she's
this?
done.
Thank you, Strange,
Leslie Ann Warren,
for
who played
clearing
Miss
that up,
Scarlet.
by the way.
Oh, okay.
Fun facts: it was originally going to be played by Carrie Fisher, but she backed out because she had to go to rehab.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is. It
Carrie
really
Fisher
is.
would have killed him.
She would have fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say Leslie Ann Warren didn't do a good job also.
No, yeah, she did.
So,
But I feel like Carrie Fisher. Okay, so you know what? She would have been the big name in this movie for me.
Strange says, I don't think Clue is as popular as it used to be, the board game anyway. And, no, I agree. There's been so many updates to board games and more sophistication to board games that Clue's kind of aged out.
Yeah. I pretty much said while watching this movie, I feel like playing Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Yeah, which is the updated, more intricate version of Clue.
But the game itself has been around since 1943.
Yeah, and
so
in the 40s
and
50s, it was probably like cutting edge and fantastic.
Well, not even cutting edge, like Monopoly's been around forever, but everyone's probably played a game of Monopoly or has known about it, either a physically board game or online.
I think
and Clue, I think for many people, they've played or like they know it's a board game, even if they've never played it. At least if you were born before like 1994.
I think the popularity comes from the versatility you can get out of it by doing so many combinations of the characters, the weapons.
Yes.
You know, the combination of the whodunit, which the movie also kind of does.
Well, and it's also it is still a mystery game, so it's still about like the guessing about who So
using detective skills and using context clues to kind of figure out what all had happened.
Yes. So more fun facts about the film. It actually underperformed. It just barely it grossed for $14.6 million, at least in the U.S.
What was its budget?
$15 million.
Oh wow.
But later developed a considerable cult following, which it's very deserved.
Yep.
This movie is almost perfect to me.
I can't wait to hear the score.
Oh, you already know it's gonna be. It's gonna be high up there. Cast. I already went through all. I'll go through the cast a little more later. It's not that big a deal. You wanted to know more about the production, and multiple endings were developed by John Landis of
Makes sense.
National Lampoon fame. He was one of the story writers. And they wanted to give the sense of having multiple endings like you do when you have
When you
play
play
the game.
Yep.
A fourth ending was filmed, and they actually decided to scrap it because it's what they just didn't think was very good. And it's where Wadsworth committed all the murders, and his desire for the perfection, murderer, as opposed to because he would feel like he was a failure and everything else. And like, yeah, I'm kind of glad that they didn't.
Also, would have felt unnecessary at that point.
Very much that.
At that point, the movie's already running kind of long-ish, and the trope is like, it's dead.
Yeah.
So.
Other fun facts: Jonathan Lynn, who was the director, screened His Girl Friday. Once again, another. I gotta add it to my fucking list. I'm pretty sure it's on there. If it's not, it needs to be on there.
It should be. Yeah, that's a good one.
His Girl Friday.
Never seen it.
I know, which is a crying shame. For the cast as inspiration as to how to deliver their lines, like how to wrap it.
I can see that, yeah.
On top of each other.
Okay.
And then Madeline Kahn improvised her monologue about flames, which is actually probably my favorite fucking thing in this whole movie. And a whole movie full of things that are my favorite things.
Actually, the namesake of this episode is from that
Yes,
line,
it is.
So.
One of the fun, interesting things about this is that it got dragged at the beginning, like when it first came out. Like, they're not giving it more than 2.5 out of 4, 2 stars or whatever. People are just panning it out their ass. It's on average, I think, for its IMDb score, it's probably gone up over time. When it first came out, a lot of people it was like 6, let me see. It says on 6, I remember seeing something that said 6 point or whatever, but it's 7.3 on IMDb, 7.72% Rotten Tomatoes from the critic score, 86% from the popcorn meter from the fans, because they're right. They're a lot closer to being right, at least. But yeah, so like when it first came out, people were like, this movie wasn't that good. It was a little like it was too gimmicky with them having the different endings, because you wouldn't even see it in theaters. You didn't see all 3 endings. You saw one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that. I didn't know they were released at different times, but I knew like when it first came out, you did not get to see all 3 endings. So
I would have done all 3 endings. That actually adds to the film, I think.
Yeah, so the 3, I read it someplace else, production release. Film was released on December 13th. Each theater received 1 of 3 endings, and some theaters would actually announce which ending the viewer could see. But like a lot of them, you just walked in, and you didn't know what you were getting.
Huh.
Yeah, and some people thought like that would be like too much of a gimmick to take away from the experience of the
Yeah.
film. And I can see that, but like I guess the idea is like, well, now you're just gonna go find another theater that has it.
It makes people go see it again.
again.
But again,
Yeah.
it's gimmicky, so I
Yes.
agree with that, actually.
An average rating on Rotten Tomatoes of 6.4 out of 10, which, again, you guys suck. Episode Critics Consensus reads, a robust ensemble of game actors elevate Clue with the schematic source material, but this farce's reliance on novelty over organic wit makes its entertainment value a roll of the dice. And, I mean, you can be wrong. It's fine. But yeah, apparently there have been talks of remakes or reboots of this film.
No.
For years.
Oh, leave it alone.
And thank God no one has successfully actually managed to make this become a thing. Although as recently as February 2024, Hasbro sought new rights deals for Clue.
I'm gonna put this on the air because it needs to be on there.
Fucking dare.
Hasbro, quit fucking up good things. You took Power Rangers away from me. You put it on hiatus. You are not doing this shit again with Clue. Quit fucking shit up.
Hasbro Studios moved the project to 20th Century Fox by August 2016, envisioned as a worldwide mystery with action-adventure elements, potentially establishing a franchise with international appeal.
Disney, do not fuck this shit. Either don't fuck this up or don't touch it.
Ryan Reynolds optioned a 3-year first look deal in January 2018, planning to star in the remake with a script by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Jason Bateman was briefly attached.
I mean...
I know. Rhett Reese, by the way, is who collaborated with Paul Wernick in Zombieland,
Yeah.
Deadpool 2, and Deadpool 1.
Yeah, and then starring Ryan Reynolds and Tim Curry's part, and you could throw in a lot of... I would go.
I'd want, yeah.
I don't want to, but for the love of God, that's like the only exception to this rule. Like, don't you fucking dare.
Chris Evans
Unless-
as Mr. Green.
I can see that.
There's.
They can get a bunch.
They
get all the fucking like Marvel characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say
just,
you could get the entire
let's get the band together.
Yeah. Let's fan cast that at a later point in time.
Yes, please.
We don't have time.
That
for
is the only way I'll accept it. Otherwise, just don't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Mrs. White, Scarlett Johansson. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, of course.
I was gonna say.
Oh no, Scarlett is Scarlett.
No, I was gonna say Miss Scarlett.
Ooh, Miss Scarlett is Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scarlett.
Oh well, then Florence Pugh is Miss White.
No.
Fuck you. Put Florence Pugh in everything.
Wanda. Elizabeth Olsen.
No.
She could be the other one.
No.
Florence Pugh in everything.
I agree with that. Not as Mrs. White. No.
Yvette then.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on, with
the Russian accent. Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
No, let me sip for a second.
Please, yes. Speaking of which, did you see the Thunderbolts trailer yet?
We're watching it after this.
Okay, so first impressions.
Can I go?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I've seen this movie quite a bit.
Yes.
More since we've gotten together.
Yes.
It's okay. Don't get me wrong. Every time I watch it, I find myself laughing at the same parts, and there's a lot really good with this film.
Mm-hmm.
There are moments of pacing where it drags.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly when they're searching the house.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand that section of the movie.
I know.
Other than that, I like the movie. The acting carries it. It's a simplistic script. There was a couple things I was looking up while we were watching, though, so I'm going to end with this just for my initial reactions. One, I really appreciate that the passages are canonically correct.
Yes, they're part of the
No. The rooms that they connect to is canonically correct.
Yeah.
From the board.
Yeah.
I was always curious whether the passages, the rooms that they connected in the movie matched the board.
Yeah.
So they did. That was really cool.
Surprising you remember that. That's like, wow.
I looked it up while we were watching.
Oh, fair enough.
I feel like I did at some point.
Am I the only one that actually just watches the movie while it's playing?
Fuck!
No. Yes.
So the dogs got out earlier, and I stepped in a sticker bush with no shoes on.
Ow.
And I'm just finding these little stickers still in my foot.
Oh,
and it
God.
hurts. Okay, anyway. So I really appreciate that. Also, I feel like the film would have performed better in theaters if you had all three endings, because I've only seen it with the all three endings.
Yeah.
And it just adds to it. Because it is the board game. Like, every time you play it, there's a different ending, and it kind of just adds to the flavor of being built on this board game. So I think it's a big reason that it's gotten a cult following after the fact is because you have all three endings, and it actually adds to the movie. Because while searching the house is the worst part of this movie for me, the third act is the best part of this movie for me, easily.
Yes.
It's not even close.
Yes.
There was one more thing I was going to say, but I can't remember, so I'm going to pass it on to Juice.
Real quick. So Strange says, so the critics of the time, at the time of release, were correct about this movie, huh? And he also says, no, redo Clue, make it more horror-like.
Yeah, more of a dark comedy, like they say.
Yeah.
We have our slapstick Clue. Don't try to make another slapstick. Make a dark comedy.
Anyway,
you can be wrong.
My initial impressions, I first saw this movie when I was I think in my late teens, early 20s, maybe, because it never really I'm like, Clue. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then actually watching it, I realized that I was an idiot. And I have come to really enjoy this movie. I love the cast. The cast is just so fun. It's a bunch of, I hate to say B movie actors.
They're all B actors.
Yeah, they're all B actors. Even Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd's a B actor.
Christopher Lloyd over time has become a B actor.
And Tim Curry. He's
I resent in this film. I resent the moniker of being a B actor, as in somehow they're less than. Their names, they're known names.
They are names, but they are not.
But they're not they're not the most known names.
They're B actors in the same class as Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci is one or been nominated for Academy Awards.
Yeah, but they're usually not the leading man. Is my point.
My point would be, that's still not necessarily classifying as a B. B usually means that they're leading in lesser known films, and I would say, but not necessarily. I guess I would say like they are mostly known names for supporting roles.
Correct. So yes. So for this being a not a collaboration. I'm sorry. An ensemble of supporting actors. They all do a very good job. If anything, like I feel like Tim Curry is technically the leading actor in this.
Yeah, he has the most screen time in life.
Yeah, he has the most screen time. He is carrying a lot throughout this entire film. But I love this ensemble. It's great. Like seeing Michael McKean and Martin Mull on screen together it's a fun time because I just remember Martin Mull from like a lot of TV movies and Michael McKean. He was great in a lot of 80s movies, but yeah, I'm trying to remember what was something I enjoyed Michael McKean in outside of like maybe Short Circuit 2 or whatever.
See, I've seen him in like things like A Mighty Wind. He's done that's more recent stuff.
Yeah.
I think The Best in the Show is another one. He was on SNL for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
He was in another parody movie, Spinal Tap, and For Your Consideration. I feel like there's something. I think he was on. Actually, he voiced Lou Pickles in Rugrats since 2020.
Martin Mull?
Wait.
No, Michael McKean.
Wait, Michael McKean is currently voicing Lou Pickles?
Since 2020, yep.
Oh wow, that's Grandpa. For anybody who doesn't know.
Oh, is it?
That's Grandpa Pickles.
I thought it was Dad.
No, that's Stu Pickles.
Stu, that's right.
It's Lou, Stu, and Drew, but I digress. Anyway, no, this movie is a lot of fun to watch. It's nice, it's short, it's quick.
Airheads! That's the fuck I know him from.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a lot going on, but at the same time, there is a lot going on screen in terms of like everybody, in terms of the ensemble. It's a good hour and a half. It's a fun little hour and a half to kill. Put it like that.
Is very much fun, yeah.
And I think that's pretty much all I'm gonna get off of that. Ari.
Okay, so I watched this movie for the first time as a child. Like I remember vividly seeing it like in one of the houses I grew up in. And I had to be like 8, maybe 9, but I was not. It was like this is one of my first Tim Curry movies.
Okay.
I think the only movie I'd seen before this that I had known him in was like The Worst Witch or something like that.
Okay.
Which is a kids movie, which
Nope.
like almost no one knows about.
Nope.
Exactly.
Nope.
And he doesn't have a very big starring role. He's just like the headmaster or whatever or something. But like, this is the movie I probably most identify as. Just to get an idea for a
Excellent
1-2 shot.
Awesome. The BBEG has to be Reptar.
Oh my god.
Please.
So,
Yes. I think there's another.
No, it's Angelica. Of course it's Angelica.
Yeah,
what the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, it's always.
But someone's familiar has to be Reptar.
But but yeah, I remember watching this movie when I was a kid, and I think I remember knowing about like, them being like separate endings when they first came out. But obviously, I've only ever watched it the same way that most people have watched it from this point on, which is with all 3 endings
on
at once.
TBS.
No, it was actually on Fox when I first watched it.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
this is before I had cable.
Oh right, duh, I forgot. I watched it later. Continue.
So yeah. So but yeah, so my first impression at that time is the same one I've had since then, which is this movie's fucking phenomenal. I don't understand why there'd be anything having. I understand people who watched it when it came out in theaters would be upset. I get that. I didn't have that experience. I'm only going off of what my experience has been, and it's been that every time I see this film, it's like a warm bath to me. It's comforting. It's safe.
It's a comfort food movie. Yeah.
It's needed at times. Like it's just what I want. It hits the spot, and I know what I'm going to get out of it. There's no surprises from it, and I feel like that's still not giving it enough credit because the warm bath's not going to make me laugh.
It's good that we did the comfort food before next week then.
Oh God. Yeah, fair enough. But I adore this film. This is one of those movies that I can literally watch. If it's on TV and there's like 3 minutes left, I'm still gonna fucking watch it. Like I can quote it. I can't quote it all the way through.
You just realized Clue is your Space Jam.
It basically, yeah, that has to be true.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so It's my first
Space Jam
impressions.
isn't even my Space Jam.
It was comfort food for me for a while.
Space Jam?
Oh yeah, when I was younger.
Oh, but yeah, same.
That soundtrack, bro.
Like the last ending or the last act, I saw this meme somewhere a few months ago, and I think about it, I want it stitched in a pillow somewhere. It says, "Lord, grant me the manic energy of Tim Curry in the third act of Clue, where he reenacts the movie in its entirety for the other characters by himself."
Yep.
There's just some days where I just feel that so hard, and I need it somewhere stitched in a pillow. I'm done.
All right, so the good. So my good is, the acting is superb. They play off each other very well. The comedy is well done. Most of the jokes hit, even today. So that's really the ensemble is my good on this movie.
Okay. Anything else?
There's not a lot else to it. That's the thing. It's a very bare bones film, which doesn't make it a bad film. Some of my favorite films of all time are bare bones. Buried by Ryan Reynolds is one of them. So simplistic is fine. It just means I'm not going to have a lot to it. And the acting pretty much carries this movie, so that's where I'm going to sit. The ensemble, the cast, and the acting is my good.
Okay.
I have to agree with basically everything, specifically Tim Curry. The writing, that's one of those things I don't focus on, and I still kind of don't. But like in this movie, in case with this movie, the way the jokes land, a lot of the innuendo, it works because there's a lot of if you don't like as we get older, we always catch things that we never saw the first time, but. Even though you kind of, and I haven't seen this movie in a while. I'm talking like a couple years. But those little jabs that they give each other, that some of the characters give each other during certain moments, it's fun. It's still effective, and it still makes me laugh. So yeah. Hold on. Honestly, there's not really much else going. I'm like. Yeah, Tim Curry's manic energy during the third act is amazing. I think I'm done. I got nothing else. Ari. Oh boy.
All right, so it's not just about the acting; it's about the pacing. And I know you were talking about how the pacing drags at times, and I'm not going to give that to you. Not because I don't want to. I just don't want to, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to. But when I say pacing, I think more about the timing, of like the comedic timing. Yeah. Of like the manic energy at the end, like when they're saying certain things, they're all running together. The gags that come because of them knowing where to hit their marks in the stage. The feeling that this could be done as a stage performance, and I think someone did actually manage to adapt it to a stage performance at some point.
I think so.
But it feels like this is enough of a self-contained, production that you could do it as a stage if you were so
inclined.
Not even inclined. Not generous, but just grand enough. I think is the word I'm looking for. Ambitious enough. Because the only challenge with doing that is when they're doing the searching scenes and you being able to see each of the floors as they're doing it at the time. But, I mean, I think in general, though, like, one of the reasons why I have loved this film for as long as I have is because the jokes still, like, it's not from the 50s, but it's set in the 50s. There's actually a scene where, like, at the very beginning of the film where Tim Curry goes to check on the kitchen and he's looking at the cook, and the cook is watching TV in the background. I never caught this before. But I looked at it today, and I'm like, that looks like, I don't know the name of the senator, but McCarthy. I don't know if it was actually McCarthy that they were showing a shot of, but for some reason, the first thing I thought of, and it actually is video from the House Un-American Committee, which is a theme for, like, the red herring of communism or whatever for the film, but it's also specifically the well-known shot speech of like, have you no decency, sir? So like, which is actually like dated June 9, 1954. Right. So like theoretically, this would be happening on that day. because it's broadcasting live or whatever or something like that. So, but no, yeah, I just like never caught that before ever. I've watched this movie 100 fucking times, thousands of times, and never noticed it. But I also really appreciate the writing in that it is simplistic. The story isn't that hard to follow. The motivations are easy to understand, and the ultimate reason why they all kill each other basically is woven in a way that makes sense. But of course, it's also like the gags of like, so Wadsworth tells me, is there anyone here or isn't there? Yes or no?
Oh God,
and then like
that
who's on first sort of thing.
Yes.
Like those kinds of like that kind of humor, it still plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heaving breathless spray flames in the side of my. Oh my God, I fucking quote that still. And
put that on a T-shirt.
Oh my God. And the music and sound use actually, while it's there's not a whole lot of like intricacy to it. They use the same basic score throughout the film.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's lighthearted while also being kind of kooky. It reminds me kind of Addams Family.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways. The only variation they have on that is when they're playing like the record player or like the end credit song of Shake, Rattle, Roll, which kind of gets you the feeling of being in the 50s or whatever. So I've always, those are just all my goods. I'm sure there's more if I thought about it harder, but those are the ones I can express right now without like making you guys wait for me to go into anything else.
Right.
So, babe, we are bads.
All right, my bads. The pacing. There is the moment when they're walking through the house. There are a couple jokes that land, and then the rest of it is just kind of like just dragging. I'm just waiting for it to be done at this point.
Such as what in particular?
There's no.
If you could just give me one.
There's no stakes. They want me to believe that one of these people is the killer, and that them being alone with each other is a dangerous proposition, and I don't feel it. I don't get that. It doesn't affect me. I mean, it's really just joke after joke after joke. And there's not really that much danger there, and none of the main characters get killed. Like, it's hard to manufacture stakes in a movie when you're not going to kill any of the main characters. Let me rephrase that.
Please.
It is hard to create stakes in a movie of danger for the main characters when it's obvious you're not going to kill the main characters. You keep bringing in these other characters who are not main characters to die. Anyone who has played Clue, which would have been millions at this point when the movie came out, and at this point billions, knows that you're not going to kill Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet,
Professor Plum,
Mrs.
etc.
White, Professor Plum. None of the named characters in the board game, you're not going to kill them. Because you're trying to figure out Mr. Body's murder, which is the whole point of the game, and one of them had to have done it. So as soon as you kill one of them, they can never do it, and that's against the spirit of the game because it can be anyone at any time with any weapon.
Yes.
So you cannot... I feel like it was a mistake to try to manufacture stakes against characters that I know you're not going to kill. The only one who actually felt like she was in danger at any time was Yvette.
Who's not a main character?
And I don't think Mr. Green's going to kill her.
Well, here's the thing. I see your point, but I disagree in the fact that there's not still stakes. It's that there is that potential of they're looking for the murderer.
Yeah.
So they're assuming that one of the pairs that they're with or whatever, one of those people are the murderer, but the whole reason that they're looking throughout the house is to make sure there's no one else there. So the stake is that somebody else
could
kill them.
Yeah.
And so when they're separating or not finding each other or whatever, or going into these dark spaces, then it's this idea that it's still, they feel that there's stakes for them.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to be learning, like gleaning from them. When the lights go off and you have no idea what's going on and people are getting murdered left and right or whatever, then it's more about like, okay, who's going to get caught? I think that's where the stakes start to become.
Well, the other part is that they jump a little too far on some of the points. Yvette's death has always been the one that stands out to me the most because you're somewhere, and I don't even remember exactly how it goes,
So okay, I will tell you.
But somehow Yvette just jumps into this other room where she's talking to somebody, and it doesn't make any sense.
She doesn't jump. You actually see her come down the stairs.
She comes down the stairs. She sneaks into the billiard room. She's talking to whoever's in there.
But why is that person in there? How did she know to meet him? Or them?
That I'm gonna just say right now. That's actually my one and only bad.
Yeah, there's a plot hole there, and it's weird.
If the killer is supposed to be Miss Scarlet, that makes complete perfect sense. Yeah. They would have prearranged for her to meet up at some point and get away from each other. Like, when I turn the lights off, come down and meet me.
Yeah.
And that's when she would have killed Yvette. But when it turns out to be Miss White later on, you see her screaming. You hear her screaming as Yvette goes down the steps. So it's kind of like, how does Miss White get from upstairs to down into the billiard room to meet Yvette to kill her? Like, that part has never made sense. It is the one and only bad for me, and I'm just going to let you know that's what it is for me. Well, I'm just getting mine out the way. Yeah. Because that shit has always infuriated me, but not to the point where I'm not still like, this movie's fucking perfect.
No, and every movie has its sins. That's why, don't expect like a 4 out of me on this movie, okay? I'm not going to give it a 9.
Your grading skill is obviously not like hers.
No, this is why it fascinates me, because sometimes I'm lower than her, and it just kind of jumps all over that, and I feel like this is going to be one of those.
It is.
The jumping, because that's not the only part, I just can't think of every part right now. It gets kind of convoluted at parts, and it's like, okay, I'm having trouble. Then there's parts that are just fucking phenomenal. So when I say something bad about this movie, this is one of those movies where I have no problem saying something bad about it, but I have this undying burning in my stomach to say something good to make up for it because I feel bad.
Guilt.
Because it's not a bad movie. So I'm going to say, on the flip side, you have these sandwiching moments of the cops showing up and them making out with the cadavers and my favorite part of the movie, when the officer leans over and goes, "This man is drunk. Dead drunk."
Dead right.
I love that entire sequence between Christopher Lloyd and the cop.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part before the third act, because the third act's the best part of this movie.
Yes,
I don't
fucking
care. And so that's the other side of the sandwich. Like, you have this drag-out part that I really don't like with a huge plot hole in it. But right before it, you have the cop search of the rooms, which is fantastic. And then at the end, you have Tim Curry's third act, which just... It's why you can watch this movie with 3 minutes left, because it's Tim Curry's third act.
Yes.
It's easy. It's easy to watch, because he just... steals it. As much as he stole Fern Gully, he stole this movie. Tim Curry can carry a fucking movie on his own. It's what he did in It. It's what he did in Fern Gully. It's what he did in this movie. It's what he did in Home Alone 2. He steals the show every time. Criminal Minds, when he plays a psychopath, the complete opposite of what he usually plays, steals the show.
Are you going to ignore Dr. Frankenfurter?
Yes, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I don't either, but I still give him all of the
I should
fucking
clarify
props.
that. I assume I don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show because the one time I tried to sit down and watch it, it's one of the few movies I made it 15 minutes in and turned it off. The only other movie in my life that has that moniker is Blades of Glory. With Will Ferrell and John Heder.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I still feel like I should add it to the list because I do feel like I need to rewatch or whatever. But I know that he fucking ate in that goddamn
film. I'm sure he fucking did. I'm sure he did. But yeah, my bad is the fucking searching the room, which unfortunately is pretty much the second act of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes it like pretty significant.
I don't feel like it's the second act in the film. I feel like it's not the second act. It's part of the second act. Part of the second act also
it's a major part of the second act.
Also includes them with the motorist.
Yes.
And them getting stuck in the room in there.
Yes.
Because that's the result of them going through the search and everything
Well,
like that.
doesn't the second act technically start as like once Mr. Body gets they quote unquote once Mr. Body quote unquote dies, or would you still consider that the first act?
I would still consider that part of the first act. I think but I guess I don't know. It's hard for me to
the second act is usually begins after introduction of conflicts of characters. So after they discover each dead body, I would consider that the start of the second act. So the cook and
Mr. Body.
So when they decide to split up.
Okay.
Basically.
Yes.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
So that's my second act. That's
okay.
me. So that's my bad.
My bad. I admit I didn't even consider the entire Mrs. White plot hole thing, but that's very interesting. I'm kind of headcanoning it as there could have, from what we see, like what we see doesn't translate well as to what they're attempting.
Right.
So it's possible that when the lights went off, she's screaming that that we don't see that she made her way downstairs to kill Yvette.
Yeah.
But no, my only bad is it's the actor that plays Mr. Body. His acting was
leaving.
Yeah, him. Some of his delivery wasn't like.
He hams it up a little bit.
A little bit, but there was some of his delivery just was like he was the weakest actor for me in this ensemble.
Okay.
Yes,
definitely. Yeah.
He's very out of place.
Very.
With everything else, including Yvette, who's obviously not really French, and the cook, who barely has any lines. Like, he just doesn't really seem to fit any of the... Like, he's a butler. You don't believe for a second he's a fucking butler.
Yeah, no, and you even made a comment, like, he looks too sinister to buttle.
Yeah.
Oh, and also you brought up Yvette, like, the worst line in the movie comes from her as well.
Which is...
They know every inch of
me.
Yeah,
no, I know.
Which is also part of that plot hole part, like, just makes it even worse. So.
Yeah.
So some of them recognize me and know every inch of my body.
Yeah.
Like, unnecessary and forced and ew.
That would definitely go in my ugly for sure. So before, as I'm watching this movie and not remembering anything, the other bad I was gonna have was that this is an entire white cast. The main cast is basically an entire white cast.
Yeah.
Obviously, we do have a black actor as a cop, but even then, it's like, okay, well, he's...
That thought that'd be more like in the ugly column, but more than it just...
Yeah, no, yeah. But up until we see the cop, I was like, there are no black people in this movie.
Yeah.
I was like shit.
It's also 1980 something.
That's,
that shouldn't be a thing, but that's absolutely.
Oh no, yeah.
That was a thing up until probably.
You have to account that was just part of the time.
No, absolutely.
Not saying it's okay.
I understand.
That's why.
But up until the cop shows up, I'm just like there are no black people in this movie whatsoever. And then the cop shows up, I'm like, okay, but it's a minor role. I guess I could put that in my that could translate into my ugly. Oh wait, yeah. Right. So yeah, leaving.
Leaving.
That is
Ving.
It's a pseudonym.
I mean, maybe.
That is a pseudonym.
Yeah, leaving.
Yeah.
He gone. Anyway, yeah, that's my only bad.
All right.
My bad.
We already hate yours.
Well, I'm just gonna reiterate that my bad is.
Oh yeah. The plot hole.
Is the plot hole. It's also Mr. Green's character. I still never really quite understood because he's supposed to be a plant, but it's like so. And Mr. Body or Mr. Watson doesn't seem to recognize why he was there, but doesn't really question it either. Like, there's this motherfucker that I'm blackmailing that I didn't realize that I'm not blackmailing. And then of course it turns out he's a cop, but it's like, were you like that line like the very end, I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife. Is it you still pretending to be straight because you are gay and you're doing that so you are being blackmailed for it? Or are you actually straight and this is just to reiterate the fact that you were never being blackmailed? That part has always been a weird question for me.
Nebulous.
And it's never really quite answered.
And it's never going to be answered.
Thankfully, I don't give a shit But it is a bad. I have to at least acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
But that would. I'm sure there's probably other bads if I was to do a bit more of an better analysis of this film. But I guess the issue is that so many other like nuanced goods that just happen within the entire fabric of the film that I am easily willing to ignore it, or I honestly don't see it.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
If you watch it again, you see. I think I didn't notice before. You know, the person not being there, like Miss Peacock being missing during one scene, and then she's back in another one, and that's when she was killing the cook, sort of thing. Like I didn't notice it the first several times I've watched this film until I finally started picking up on it, and it's subtle. So because it is an ensemble. One of the fun things I'm just gonna point out real quick again, also though, is every single the entire cast is paid the same. Regardless of the ability. Yeah, everyone got the same paycheck.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so ugly. I honestly don't have any. I'm good with it. I understand the all-white cast with the minor black actor. I get it. But, I mean, this movie, it has some... For example, has anyone ever, outside of this movie, heard Search Me instead of Beats Me?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like you said, like someone asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, you would say beats me.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever heard Search Me?
I've heard it in the past.
You have heard it outside of this.
Okay,
I've never heard that, so I always thought it was a weird forced joke because I've never heard that.
I have.
But if you all have, then I won't put it in ugly. So, other than that, I'm good. I'm fine with it.
Except for the Yvette thing.
Yvette.
The
the one line of. They know every inch of my body. Like, shut up. It's too much. It's ugly. Go ahead.
So my ugly would go to the lack of diversity within the cast. But again, I mean, yeah, the time, but there's still no excuse.
Tully, outside.
Damn it, cat!
Go, Tully, up!
No, never mind. Nope, never mind.
He's already gone.
Well, let's find something to go on and read it.
And we didn't pause this.
Hang on, guys. Some.
Tully's having an accident. We're just trying to get her to take care of her.
Yep.
Muted?
Yeah. I've disconnected it. I'm trying to move this. I'm just going to keep it off over.
Yeah, that bowl did not.
Yeah. Sorry, baby. Can you get it?
Yeah. Well, there wasn't a whole lot coming out. She's got the one piece is already out.
Just a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah, the one piece is already out.
I know you're getting old, baby girl.
Put that there in case the work comes out. Okay. It is.
You okay?
Yeah,
I remember.
I am weak when it comes to poop.
I know.
Okay, well, I'm going to start the straight back up again. So.
I'm getting better at it. Oh, damn, we just took it off.
Alright.
There we go.
Check.
I think you need to fast forward, baby.
Oh, damn, we just took it off.
Yep, we're good. Alright, so my ugly was the lack
hold
of.
on.
Just fast forward it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
All right.
Again, sorry about that, guys. Lack of diversity in the cast, which kind of leads to lack of diversity in the board game, because this was actually a thing that I became aware of a few years ago, was when they got rid of Mrs. White.
Well, the lack of diversity in the board game led to lack of diversity.
Well, no, I understand that lack of diversity in the board game led to but they got rid of Mrs. White in the board game and replaced her with an Asian character named Dr. Orchid, and they made her color purple. So
they don't have a plum though, so that's weird.
I could okay, maybe not purple, but
orchid is usually it might. I think you have white orchids, so
maybe, but she might be like a She's pink.
Okay.
But regardless, so yeah, that's my only ugly.
Okay. My ugly is more or less like some of the jokes they have about women's bodies, and
The exploitation of the.
not necessarily the exploitation. It's more or less like kind of the tongue-in-cheek jokes they have about, not even just the Yvette, but like the cook for one. Her weight, things like that when they're trying to lift her up and everything. That's probably one of the biggest ones. I feel like there's other ones with regards to just like how they treat Yvette. I know she's supposed to be a sex worker and like she's like a sex pot basically.
Yeah.
And that's her role, but that's kind of like the way that she's written. But at the same time, like, do we have to keep writing these characters like this? But at the same time, like, Miss Scarlet is fun because she's very unapologetic about what she does.
Oh yeah.
Like I love the line where she's like, communism is just a red herring. Like all members of the oldest profession, I'm a capitalist. I fucking love that line.
Yeah.
And so like I don't have a lot of ugly, even with the lack of diversity. As a black woman, talking about how I fucking adore this film. I've always adored this film. Will always adore this film. I am glad that there is more representation in films going forward. I'm sad there were not more before this, but that does not mean that I can't still fucking enjoy this.
Oh no, absolutely. I agree with you on that matter.
So,
I'm on the same page.
I lament that they didn't have more, but at the same time, like it is what it is. Yeah, I would not only would I not be able to ever enjoy any fucking Hollywood films, which is there's the argument for that to be said, because of lack of diversity before like circa 2013. It would also mean lack of diversity behind the scenes and what films are getting made, who are actually making the films, who are telling the stories, the studio executives who are greenlighting these things. Like that lack of diversity still exists. It's better now, but it's still not awesome. So I'm gonna leave that one alone because it doesn't necessarily distract from the viewing pleasure for me. The female body jokes of some of them.
Muting. Unmuted.
The female body jokes of those sorts of things, like that will take away from me a little bit. So that's why I would consider it an ugly.
Alright. So
out of 10.
Great. Out of 10.
Great.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Accurate.
So I said earlier that I think all of our grades are going to be the same, and we're going to test that right now. My grade is Tim Curry.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Tim Curry is my grade. But I do want to make a shout out to my favorite part of the movie. I had mentioned the cop searching the rooms. That's definitely one of them. My favorite part of this movie that I always love and I always enjoy watching, though, is there are no more shots in that gun. 2 + 2 or 1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
Yeah.
And that back and forth.
Yeah.
It's very who's on first,
Yep.
which is my kind of comedy.
Yeah.
And I just love those wordplay jokes like that,
Yeah.
which Abbott and Costello definitely mastered. But they did very well in that moment.
Yes. Juice.
Tim Curry. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
And runner up is Michael McKean.
That's fair.
As like the very
he's like a straight man basically.
The straight bum. Well, he wasn't really straight.
Well,
Who's
but
Michael
in terms
Keane?
of comedy,
Is that Mr. Green?
That is Mr. Green.
Yeah, in terms of comedy, he's a straight man.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
But he was the bumbling idiot.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. It felt like he was like in that moment where like they're all talking about like, hey, is there anyone else here? No. Yes.
I thought Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
was the
Christopher Lloyd is
idiot.
the straight man.
No, bumbling idiot.
No.
And I saw Mr. Green as the straight man.
No, Michael McKean's kind of the bumbling.
I mean, they keep like throwing him around. But I think part of the reason why it's funny when they're doing that is because he's the straight man.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
No, yeah, it is a scene where they're like, is there anyone like when the cop gets there and he's asking a question and everyone's like, no, and he's like, well, yeah, like, are you sure? No, like, yes. Like, it's very like not deadpan, but it's a matter of fact delivery that I feel
he is a logical and sensical one of the.
Yeah,
I got it. I guess I got it more so from the introduction of his character because he's very nervous and very shaky and like just shit spilling out of his hand. He's spilling drinks. So
I
it's
remember when you saw the drink.
on.
That's early there,
On
right?
Mrs. P.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that's early, right?
Yeah, that's early.
Yeah.
So he's still in plant mode. He's still like passing off a
Fair
character.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But still, love Michael McKean. So
No,
yeah.
Alright,
he's
yeah,
still
no.
fun in that fucking film.
I-
He's probably the person I actually probably know most outside of Tim Curry and Christopher Lloyd
Yep.
in this film.
Yep.
But I was gonna say, my great specifically because Tim Curry is always great in everything he does,
Yes.
so it's not fair. And obviously the third act is just mwah, chef's kiss. It is, and part of that third act, and we already know what the fuck it is flames on the side of my face,
Just
heaving, heaving breaths. Like, I fucking adore that one moment. And she made up all of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's all ad libs.
Yeah.
So like I just adore it. So rest in peace, Madeline Kahn.
Right on.
All
All right, so out of 10.
20.
Coming
No notes.
from Ari, you said no movie's perfect. Finally found one.
No,
So
20.
I'll start. I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7 on it. Solid 7.
I'm at a 7 as well.
Ugh. This is one of those films, so I kind of gave you like a breakdown of what my scoring looks like. 7 is
Well, you also
watchable,
know
but not really.
how we feel now every
Yeah.
time we enjoy a movie and you just shat upon it.
yes, but you guys are wrong, so it's fine.
Wow!
7.5 is usually movies like it's not a very good movie, but I can still enjoy the fuck out of it. 8, and he's like it was actually a good movie, and I enjoy the fuck out of it. 8.5 is like
Nearing perfection.
Nearing perfection, yes.
So, with that being
This
said,
is a 9 for me.
good God!
It should be a 7.5. It should be the same level like Tremors for me, because Tremors is very much one of those films like it's not a perfect film.
Oh, I think Tremors is better than this.
I.
Have you seen Tremors?
No.
Oh,
Add it
okay.
to the
It's
list.
on the wheel, I believe. It's on one of our
Yeah.
lists.
No.
So this is her coming to America for me.
Yeah, because you
I
also love that movie, and I'm like,
I don't see it. Yeah, this is one of those films that like I know it's not that fantastic a film, but it's still real to me, damn it, sort of thing. Like
yeah.
I still love the fuck out of it, and even objectively trying to analyze it, I'm still not able to really do so well enough without giving it a higher score than it probably deserves.
All right.
So
Cool.
on
Fair
another
enough.
day, it probably is a 7.5, but right now I'm giving it a 9. And I do not feel bad about this.
Okay, that's fair.
Sure.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
So stream it, rent it,
own it.
own it.
Fucking own it. Buy like 5 copies just to make certain.
I'm at stream it. Check it out. Obviously, if you like it, you feel free to buy it, but it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah.
I'm on the same page. Stream it, and if you really, really like it, own it.
I'm saying own it because you should really, really like it. And it's just a good fucking film and you should own it and like don't be a commie and just buy it.
Don't be a well, baby, communism's a red herring. See what
That
I did
should have
there?
been. I feel like that probably could have been the title of the episode.
Also, I really like the final line of the movie before I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife. If they would have cut that out, it would have been perfect.
Yeah.
I really like how they ended it. In case you're wondering who killed Mr. Body,
Yeah.
it was me in the hall with the revolver.
But you would have to do it in the game.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
love that they ended it that way. And I think you had said it before we even watched the movie. This is how you do a board game adaptation correctly.
Yes.
Um,
The only other one is Battleship that I can think of.
And they don't really do
well,
a good
no,
job of it.
I can only really think of video game ones. I don't think they've done a whole lot of
No, not
board
board
game
games.
ones?
No.
board game ones.
Let them try to do Monopoly.
Monopoly would just be sad.
They don't have to. Just look out the window.
There you go.
They didn't already do that. It was called The Big Short.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Oh God, I should put that on the wheel. That'd be
So
fun.
real quick, Stream said LMAO, laugh my ass off. It's still real to me. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I won't even rank out of respect of it being a comfort movie.
Oh, Strange, we still want to know your score.
Yeah, for
No, we
real.
don't have to.
I want to know your score, Strange.
I mean, you kind of gave us scores for the last 2 movies, so
Yeah, come on, baby.
don't be scared.
So where are we at?
We are
On to the next one?
I believe we are on.
Well,
we don't even
because next week is still September, right?
No, next week is October.
Well, then yeah, it's just gonna be your film.
Yes.
Yeah,
so we will not be spinning the wheel today for one of the only times this will ever happen.
Next week we will begin Horror Month.
Yes. Now to explain.
Wow.
3.25.
Strange, you're dead to me.
Damn. All right. To explain ourselves here, because we are going to be very strict on the wheel going forward. The reason we are not using the wheel for the next one is because I had a very specific movie in mind I wanted to watch.
Yep.
Ari did not want to watch this movie.
At all.
So the compromise that we came to was that I would get to watch this movie, and I could just pick it for Horror Month. However, I am relinquishing any chance that I would have had to get 2 movies in Horror Month.
Because there's only 5. There are definitely 5 weeks in October this year.
So each of us gets 2 except one of us. One of us only gets 1 movie out of Horror Month. Now, I'm the horror fan here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would have wanted the 2 picks, but I was willing to give up my second pick to watch this movie. So that's why we are not spinning the wheel today.
The trade-off of that is, though, because Matt can't spin the wheel, he is going to pick the one movie he's going to do. Me and you still have to do the wheel. But we need to have separate wheels for Spooky Horror.
Which I do have one made up.
Good deal.
I am good to go.
So we will not be spinning. The movie we will be watching next week is Infested.
That's what it's called.
It is a French horror film that came out this year and is pretty much a spider movie. It's a creature feature with spiders.
I wish to God I could punish you with a film that I wanted to
Which
watch.
is the whole reason that Ari doesn't want to watch it.
All the reasons, yes.
But next week, I want to double check on the name of that actually. Because again, it's a brand new movie and I've never seen it. This is brand new to all of us here.
Yep.
We will also be getting a new microphone so that will allow us to do more streaming sessions. Me and Matt still might watch horror movies throughout the rest of the month just because that's our thing. Is we're in the month of October we were going to watch more spooky movies and stuff like that. It's just our schedule in the past has made it difficult for us to really be able to sit down and watch it. And so the question we have is about being able to actually relegate the other days of the month that we're able to watch. But it's still really important to me that we're doing streaming of video games, and we're trying to hit mostly horror, not only horror video games during the month of October as well.
Yes.
So once we get a new mic, then we'll be able to start doing that.
Diving into that a little harder, yes.
Strange, don't worry, I have Hereditary on my wheel.
And Midsummer is on my wheel. However, I'm not allowed to use my spooky wheel this year because of the deal that I struck.
And Tammy and the T-Rex is on my wheel.
Ew. That's not a horror movie.
The fuck it isn't.
It's a horror to watch.
Yeah, right?
So that's what we're watching next week. Infested. If anyone wants to check it out, it's on Shudder, if you can find it.
Which is the spooky streaming station.
Yes. It is also on AMC Plus, I believe. So we're either going to be getting a trial subscription, because I think I specifically didn't do a trial subscription for whenever we watch this movie, so we can start the trial subscription and then cancel
Isn't
it.
Shudder free?
Not for AMC.
No, I think it's a part of AMC Plus. Unless I can find it. I'm going to try to find it. But if I can't find it, we're going to have to subscribe.
It's not on like Amazon or something?
It's on Amazon through AMC Plus.
Last
time I checked. But this was back in March, February when I wanted to watch it.
That's fine.
But then you refused to watch it, so I had to find a way to get you to watch it. And that's fine. You can hate me for it. It's okay.
Sweet.
But I still have not made you watch Neverending Stories, so you don't get to be that mad at me.
I will, and I can.
I won't be watching it. I hate horror. Oh, well, that's fine. But still watch the stream. Like and subscribe and share. Thank you.
Cool.
Also, in regards to the new mic situation, we are getting our money together. We got other priorities that need to be taken care of first. Once we do get a new mic, obviously, a lot of our gaming will come back. However, we will have MXFL streams still coming. I actually may have a surprise late one here tonight after the stream. Ari will not be part of it, as she needs to go to bed.
Yeah.
But like, share, subscribe. We got some things coming up. Winter is coming.
Ooh.
And the best part about No Collar Entertainment in the winter, we don't do shit, so we are always streaming.
I hang on the outside as much as humanly fucking
stick
possible.
around.
And in 2 weeks from today, hopefully, possibly, Dragon Ball Z Sparking
Zero, baby!
That's right.
Which we will be streaming the opening day of. I did not get the deluxe edition with the early access.
I did.
It was a little too expensive for my taste.
I wanted the DLCs.
I'll just buy the season pass.
That's fine. But,
So,
one more thing I just want to kind of point out
and this is also an official invitation to Strange Enigma to come on over on the release date of Sparking Zero, and we will be kids again, and I will get Code Red Mountain Dew and Doritos. And we will play fighting games all night.
And you will get some hands.
We will catch these hands.
By the way, also coming up this month, which we're doing, but we'll just tell you guys about it. I wish we could actually stream it, but we won't be able to. Matthew and I will be attending ghost hunting at the Arch Theater.
Oh Jesus! I did say I would do that.
Did and I bought the tickets already.
Ooh.
We're basically one of the local older theaters that exists in the area. Is hosting basically ghost hunting. So the theater itself has been around for almost 150 years, over 150 years. Versus the first as a hotel and then as a hospital, and so there's been reports of shadowy figures, glowing balls, blah 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 blah. But we get to go in the basement and use ghost hunting equipment to try and capture paranormal activity.
And for anyone who watches our stream who knows Ari, she is paying money that we earned to go into a basement.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that.
I just want
to essentially run like a bitch.
Look for demons. Yeah.
And run like a bitch. Because if you've ever seen her play horror games, her favorite Dead Rising?
Dead Space.
I'm sorry, with her favorite being Dead Space, you know her go-to move is turn around and run like a bitch.
And hide. Don't forget hiding.
Yeah, and hide.
What day is the ghost hunting?
The wife might enjoy it.
It's October 21st. I will send you the link.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be fun. You guys should come.
It's like $30 a person.
Also, so we've done Titanic Experience this year, and we're going to do Haunted Art Theater this year.
Yep.
So I'll just keep dropping hints at events I want to go to, and you can surprise me with tickets at some point, just so you know. Nudge, nudge. Hint,
oh, no,
hint.
that's what I was doing.
His birthday is in December.
Since when is ghost hunting something I brought up?
You not brought it up. But
when have I ever said, let's go fuck with demons? When have I ever said, why'd you go buy a Ouija board, baby?
Okay, when I said we were going to look for demons, I was kidding.
So what part of that makes me feel like that's for me?
Because it's different and it's new and it's exciting and adventurous and you like adventure.
I like adventure. I don't like fucking with demons.
We're not fucking with demons. We're fucking with
You want adventure? Get me on a pirate ship or something where I'm actually playing pirates with someone, or one of those zombie runs that they have where you actually get to shoot people with airsoft guns and run away from actual zombies. That's the kind of adventure I'm talking about.
They have pirate ships in Chicago.
Give me something that I get to be the hero at or the martyr or whatever the fuck. Not something that's going to fuck with demons.
You mean the hero fucking with demons?
Yes, Strange. That is white people's shit.
Is white people's shit.
This is why people say you're white. Shit like this.
See, here's the thing. She wants to do white people shit.
Also, citizens.
But then closer to the end, she realizes, oh wait, I should be doing black people shit and not doing this.
Well, no, it's the same reason why the idea of Ouija boards doesn't bother me because it's fucking mass produced and sold in Kmart.
That's
that is I don't see the issue with it. Now it's still there. Maybe is there something to deal with it? I don't know because the one time I used it, I know I wasn't moving it, and the other person I was with was saying they weren't moving it. I don't know if they were just being full of shit. I was saying that I was not moving it, and I actually was not fucking moving it. But in general, though, it's fucking mass produced and sold at Kmart. That's where we bought it. Like, it's not really real. And so with this, it's interesting because I get to see the ghost equipment. It's more of like a historical, like, an exercise in academia. More than anything for me.
And again, what part of that screams something I want to do?
2 words. Ghostbuster.
Okay, so well, maybe if you don't want to go.
No, I'll go.
Okay.
I already said I would.
No, you don't have to go. You
honestly
don't have to.
You know, Titanic. I saw it and was like, Ari would enjoy that, and I bought the tickets.
Yeah, I saw this. I thought you.
Once in a while, I'd like you to see an event and be like, you know, I don't really care about this, but I know Matt would really like it.
I felt like this was something that you would want to do.
Citizen Soldier is in concert, like close by soon. And those tickets are probably just as expensive as this. I think that's why I'm a little salty. But it's okay.
Well, no, I haven't seen anything about it. That's probably
So
why.
Strange says better Matt than me because I don't give a damn how manufactured it is. I don't fuck with spirits.
And also with Titanic, I said I wanted to do
Don't worry, Strange. It won't be me. I will not fuck with a Ouija board. I don't mess with ghosts. They don't mess with me. I don't mess with them.
I ain't afraid no ghosts.
Then go somewhere else.
No, you don't have to come with me, maybe. It's fine.
You know.
No, I'm going there.
So
I already said I would.
You know what? I
already said I would. Don't start.
I want to ask this question on air. I was gonna wait till off air, but I have to ask since you've lived in Gary.
Yeah.
Like, you know about the Demon House?
Yeah. Drove by it at some point.
Yeah. Do you believe anything about it?
I actually just talked to somebody at work about this. So with me and Melinda actually drove by it one time because I didn't live that far from it because it's over. You know where our old house used to be, over in Lake Station.
Uh-huh.
It was not that far. It was like probably 2 miles away.
Okay.
And so we just drove up there and like, okay, it wasn't a big deal. It was just it's ratty looking house. Like, oh, the house is on that fucking block. I drove by again by myself. Like, I think I forget when I did it. It was a while later. And it was just kind of weird because I drove by and these 3 random dogs, like I don't remember different breeds or whatever, came tearing out of nowhere from around that yard and just barking their fucking heads at me, like just like start chasing me. I didn't even get a chance to stop. I was just driving through this kind of because the street is not very well maintained either.
Yeah.
And so it's like bumpy and there's like potholes and puddles everywhere. And I'm trying to like break an axle, trying to get out of there, but I'm also not trying to fucking hit any of these dogs either. They just came out of nowhere and just started barking fucking at me like hardcore. Like, all right, and I turned a corner and they stopped chasing me and they were just that was it. And I just always felt weird. Like, okay, that happened. I've grown up in Gary and I've known of roving gangs of stray dogs.
Yeah.
Never had them target my car before. But you know, maybe it's something, maybe it's not. I don't think anyone was living there at the time. It just might be a coincidence. It's not a great neighborhood. But the house itself is gone now.
No, that's fair, but
Strange says the dogs are warning you.
Yeah, it's possible. Have you seen the documentary?
I've not. So I saw the Ghost Hunter episode. But there's a Ghost.
No, we saw the documentary. We watched it together.
Oh no, the documentary. There's a movie that's out right now.
Yeah.
We watched the documentary.
It's called The Deliverance. I just recently watched it.
Yeah, what did you think?
Of the movie or of the?
Either one.
The movie I think is well done.
Okay.
It's good for. I
gotta watch the movie.
I was actually I was invested in it because I knew of the because I had seen the documentary.
Yeah.
The documentary. It's. I feel I have a weird feeling about it because like the stuff that you see on the documentary you're like
there's another reason for it.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, what's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, the Ghost Hunter. He says he took him 3 years to produce the movie after the events of what had happened in the house. And I have heard, I've met people who have had strange
experiences.
Strange experience, not with that house in particular, but with something similar. So I think it is possible.
So what's always kind of thrown me is that allegedly there were these other like people who you would think would be reputable, with regards to like their testimony. So not just the mom, but like a DCS worker and a cop and a nurse who are all reporting seeing this stuff. And I don't remember if I'm like hearing about it secondhand from other people or if I'm actually reading their words quoted in a newspaper article somewhere. I feel like I got both at some point.
Well, the cop
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
well, what I remember, because I recently saw part of the documentary as well, is the cop never saw anything, but he did hear something over the speaker after he had left the house, like after dealing with after going to the house, and having to deal with something that had happened at the house, and then something later, he heard something over the radio.
Yeah.
I know about the nurse at the hospital. There's something that she saw some shit. The DCS worker, I don't think she ever saw anything, but again, yeah, that's
so yeah, and I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure on like what these people witnessed. I also know, unfortunately, that and this is I don't necessarily want to completely like denigrate people's experiences or this family's experience. Something happened, and that's all I can go with. But I also have experience in Gary, which is very oftentimes religious, kind of almost hyper religious in some cases, and that's not always going to lead to the most objective view with stuff like this if they already have biases and they're being reinforced by the family or but it's very like the chances of it happening for all three people who are career professionals who should be able to see past this stuff happening does kind of like, okay, not all of y'all. Someone here had to have seen something that makes me kind of feel like it's possible. But I also know how incredibly superstitious people in that community can be. So that's why I'm like, there might be something here. I don't know if it's like the Hell House, I guess the portal to hell or whatever. Like, it's fucking Gary. It's not a great place in general. So the fact there's one more thing wrong with it is like, well, yeah, of course, because it's already like a bad place to live. Like, yeah, that's not where I'm at. So, but I'm not gonna say that supernatural things can't still happen. And it is kind of, I was thinking about actually recently, like, there only ever seems to be like haunted places in like white people like hospital, like this is a hospital like in Gettysburg or whatever, like this place, and was famous for like its hotel, like saloon workers and blah, like, yeah, but when you hear about the hood, all the people who've been killed there, no one bats an eye and thinks like, yeah, that place has got to be haunted. So
all right.
So, we're going to call it there. Ari needs to get to bed.
I do.
I have a football stream actually coming up in just about 5 minutes or so.
I have to drive home.
Anyone who wants to stick around, feel free to stick around for that. We'll be watching Infested next week. We'll get a new mic so we can stream more games. And, yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Visage is coming.
Ew.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're not.
I'm a little sorry. I'm doing it to myself.
Yep. Because I ain't fucking doing it.
I know.
What is it? A new episode?
Yeah, she wants to continue Visage, and I am not interested, and she wants to, so she's playing it.
Sure. Okay. So for No Collar Entertainment,
this is Matt.
This is Ariane.
This is Juice.
We're out.
Bye.
1 + 2 + 1 + 1
+ 2 is